Hello, my friends, and welcome to Imagine If. I am back in finishing the last two parts of Imagine If Flash Thompson became Spider-Man in 2007. It has been a while since I have continued this series, and I am indeed proud to show you all what will happen next. As you recall from a while back, Flash Thompson gets the black goo symbiote before nearly committing suicide in the park. Since Peter Parker was bitten by the end of Flash Thompson being bitten by the spider in 2004, Peter decides on being Spider-Man when Flash decided to quit after losing his powers. Harry Osborn went to MJ to know the truth about everything, wanting to know if what his dead father said was true. Flint Marko escaped, and after Marko escaped, Cletus Cassidy escaped as well, going into the park, where he gets the red symbiote, becoming Carnage. How would the second act of the third and final part of the series go with all of this occurring? Sit back, relax, and let us watch. Peter was in the city still as Spider-Man, having no luck on finding Harry. He still wanted his revenge after Harry killed his Aunt May. Peter suddenly heard hears of screaming in the streets ahead of him, seeing people run away from something, but he wasn't sure what they were running away from. Peter gets a closer look and sees Cletus rampaging through the streets, killing many innocents. Peter quickly goes into action, swinging straight towards Cletus, telling Cletus that he should stop all of this now. Cletus sees Peter and tells him that Carnage never stops. Peter landed in front of Carnage and tried to punch him, but Carnage quickly grabbed Peter by the throat and threw him to a light pole. Peter quickly got up and charged at Carnage while trying to web him up. Carnage deflected the web firing and caught Peter by the throat off guard. Carnage picked up Peter in the air with his hands still around Peter's throat and slammed him to the ground. Carnage then took off Peter's mask, seeing that Spider-Man was just a boy. Carnage said to himself that this can't be the real Spider-Man. Carnage got up and began to run down the street to try a different route to find the real Spider-Man, which was Flash. When Flash was done explaining what happened between him and Harry's father, Harry felt guilty for this, saying that he was sorry for not seeing the big picture. Harry was not expecting the reflection of his own father lied to him about all of this. Suddenly, they heard screaming and police sirens outside. They turned the TV on to know what was going on, and the news says that there is a red monster rampaging through the streets, and he is notified by saying that his name is Carnage. The reporter says that Carnage is heading to the church. The news went on, saying that Spider-Man is in pursuit to stop Carnage as soon as possible. Flash and Harry quickly went into the city and headed straight to the church as quickly as possible to give Peter a hand, even though Peter was going to try and take on Harry. Carnage arrives at the church and makes his way to where the church bell was to get a better view of the streets around him. Peter was right behind Carnage and landed on the other side of the church bell. Carnage asks in anger where the real Spider-Man was, and Peter says that he is Spider-Man. Carnage says in anger while making his hand a long blade that he is no Spider-Man. He is just a kid, a weakling, but he shall still enjoy killing him. Flint Marko was in the street seeing the news about Carnage and seeing the dead bodies that Carnage had killed. Flint thought about his daughter during all this. He asked himself, will Carnage go after her? Flint said that he will not allow that. He goes to a gun shop that was abandoned, and he got a gun. And after getting a gun, he went over to the church. He looked at the gun in his hand, thinking of the death of Ben Parker. He said to himself that he hopes that no more innocent blood gets in his hands. Harry and Flash arrive at the church, seeing Carnage wrapping his symbiote tendrils around Peter's neck, slowly suffocating him. Harry quickly tilts his glider back and much fire dashed straight towards Carnage. A little bit of that fire got on Carnage, making Carnage let go Peter. Peter's life was saved. Flash comes over and sees Peter's eyes slowly open. Flash helps Peter get up, and Peter doesn't say anything. Peter, Flash, and Harry see Carnage stop the burning that was on him, and also see Carnage start to heal rapidly. Flash says to Peter that they will talk later. Peter agreed to it, and the three spread out, surrounding Carnage. Carnage says while summoning many blades all over his body that he is finally meeting the real Spider-Man. Flash tells Carnage that his mess ends here, and he, Harry, and Peter charged at him. Outside of the church, Eddie Brock arrives with his camera and also sees Flint Marko arrive as well, seeing the gun in Flint's pocket. Flint sees Eddie, but he just ignores it and heads into the church, knowing that he has bigger issues to take care of. Eddie looks up to where the church bell was, seeing Carnage fighting against Flash, Harry, and Peter. He starts to take the shots on his camera for the Daily Bugle. Flint enters the church with the gun in his hand. He goes up the stairs that led to the church bell, exactly where Flash, Carnage, Harry, and Peter were at. When Flint was in front of Carnage, he yelled at Carnage, telling him that there is no way in hell that he is going to allow him to get to his daughter. Carnage sees Flint and roars at him, showing his sharp teeth. Flash sees Carnage going after Flint, and he quickly jumps onto Carnage's back and arm chokes him, telling Flint to run. But Flint kept on firing until all the bullets on his gun were out. Eddie was getting a lot of pictures, but he believed they weren't enough. He could do better. So he decided to enter the church to get better and clearer shots. When Flint was out of bullets, he dropped the gun and made a run for it, now knowing that Carnage was invincible to the bullets, and only Peter, Flash, and Harry could stop him now. Carnage's symbiote tendrils grabbed Flash and tossed Flash to the church bell. And when the church bell started to ring, Flash's suit and Carnage froze where they were and screamed from the sound of the bell ringing. When Harry and Peter saw this, they had an idea. Harry quickly tilted his glider again and shot out fire once again at Carnage, which made the symbiote come apart a lot faster. Flash's suit started to come apart, making Flash's face become shown. Eddie got a clearer look at him, shocked to see that the Daily Bugle's former photographer was Spider-Man. Eddie was also surprised that there were now two Spider-Man, and he took their pictures, with all of them showing Flash's face. The church bell's ringing started to slowly die off, and Flash tried to get the symbiote he had back on him, but the symbiote got off of him and went after Eddie. Carnage's remaining symbiote did the same thing, and the two symbiotes combined, making one giant symbiote. It went all over Eddie. The giant symbiote spread it all over Eddie and made the toxin suit. When Flint was where Eddie was, Flint was scared. He didn't know what to do except to try and make a run for it. The suit acted on his own while Eddie was having visions of the truths of Flash Thompson. The suit grabbed Flint by the neck and choked Flint to death because of Flint firing at them earlier. The suit dropped Flint's corpse. Eddie could see everything that Flash Thompson has experienced or went through, seeing how Flash failed to prevent Uncle Ben's death along with Aunt May's. Eddie, with all the information now given to him by the suit, ran out of there and went straight to the Daily Bugle to tell J. Jonah Jameson about the truth of Flash Thompson. The police arrived. Peter gave them Cletus Cassidy, and the police brought him back to prison. Harry and Peter took Flash away from the church, heading back to the apartment MJ was in because Flash still didn't have his powers. They believed that the symbiotes were gone. When Flash, Harry, and Peter were at the apartment, Harry said to Peter that he didn't mean for whatever happened in the past. Peter said when taking off his broken mask that he killed his Aunt May. MJ told Peter that Harry told her everything that happened to him. Flash was about to say something, but Peter said that he and Harry are both responsible for letting his loved ones die. If they are even going to tell him the truth, then he is not going to ever forgive them for it. Flash told Peter to just hear them out, but Peter asked them to leave, or else he is going to go full on rage. MJ was about to tell Peter to knock it off, but Harry told MJ that it was alright. He will go away peacefully and do his best to pay for what he did. MJ, Peter, and Flash watched as Harry left through the window. Flash slowly walked to the door. "If I could go back and prevent it, I would," Flash said shortly before he exited out of the room. Eddie arrives at J. Jonah Jameson's office as his regular self, telling Jameson everything that he has seen, while giving Jameson the pictures he took from the outside of the church. Jameson was surprised with the pictures Eddie took, but asked how he could be so sure that Flash Thompson is the black-suited Spider-Man. Eddie tells Jameson that he has seen his face, and then gave Jameson the pictures of Flash's face while the symbiote was getting off of him. Jameson was shocked, but also proud of Eddie being able to find out about the first Spider-Man's real identity. Jameson took the picture of Flash's face, telling Eddie that together they will show the city Flash Thompson's secret finally being revealed. At the apartment, Peter was sitting alone in the living room, fixing his suit, while thinking of Flash and Harry. MJ was in her room, telling Peter that she is going to do more homework to clear her mind. Peter decided to join her a little bit and decided to check to see what was on the TV right now. Right when he turned the TV on, the breaking news immediately appeared, with the news saying that Spider-Man's truth had been revealed. Peter didn't know what the news meant, but he was shocked and nervous. He thought to himself, thinking that Flash and Harry gave his identity away, betraying him even further. The news showed a picture of Flash Thompson with the symbiote suit coming off of him. The news tells the people watching Flash Thompson's identity, and also telling that the photo was taken by the Daily Bugle's newest photographer, Eddie Brock. Peter was shocked. He couldn't believe what unfolded, that MJ was there as well, seeing what was going on. Peter asked himself, how did Eddie Brock know of this? Peter started to say that Flash probably deserves it for what he has done. MJ tells Peter that he has to stop blaming Flash for what he didn't mean to do, nor Harry. They both never wanted the death of Aunt May to occur. Peter asks MJ how she can even be so sure about it, and MJ straight away tells Peter the truth about what happened to Uncle Ben and Harry. While explaining what she heard from Harry and Flash, Peter was even more shocked. He felt extremely terrible for how he treated Flash and Harry all this time, that this made Peter start to cry a little. Peter tells MJ when she was done explaining that he has lost two of his greatest friends. Peter looked down in great shame. He asks her how he is supposed to fix all this, and MJ puts her hand on Peter's face, telling him that he must help them out to try no matter what. When Flash saw the news, he went straight to the Daily Bugle to find Eddie Brock and get payback. He was done with getting his life even more worse. When Flash entered the building, people saw him in shock, and the room became silent. Eddie saw Flash and asked how he was going as Spider-Man. Flash asks in anger why he was at the church, and Eddie simply said to get the job done. Jameson came into the room seeing Flash and Eddie. Jameson tells Flash what he was doing here, and Flash said to get revenge. Flash immediately grabbed Eddie by the shirt and slammed him to the wall, asking how many more secrets he is holding. Jameson tells Flash to get out or else he will call the police. Flash tells Jameson that he missed the part where that was his problem. The suit that was connected to Eddie quickly covered Eddie's entire body, showing everyone itself. The suit quickly grabbed Flash's hand that held him in place, grabbed Flash's jacket, and threw him to the wall, injuring Flash's back badly. Jameson saw this and yelled at Eddie, saying that he is a menace to this building because of the secrets he has had inside of him. Jameson then said that he didn't only reveal Flash's identity, but he revealed himself as Carnage. Flash slowly got up and ran out of there as fast as he could. The suit's face started to change, showing a mouth with sharp teeth and a long tongue. Eddie said, "No, not Carnage. Thompson." As Thompson started to attack everyone in the building, Flash was able to escape, and a part of Thompson went after Flash, betraying Thompson unnoticed. Harry was back at the Osborn residence, watching the news as it shows the incident that took place at the Daily Bugle. The news notified that the threat that calls himself Thompson has killed J. Jonah Jameson, Betty Brant, and many more. Harry couldn't believe what was going on now, that he stayed where he was, and pondered if he should even intervene to stop Thompson or not. Harry heard a knock on the door, and Bernard came in telling Harry that he had a guest. Flash came into the room telling Harry that they have to stop Thompson. Harry asks Flash why he isn't taking care of the situation on his own. Flash tells Harry that he can't beat an enemy like this alone. They have fought Carnage, and they were able to beat him. Harry tells Flash that he doesn't know if he can help him. He killed Peter's aunt, killed Octavius, killed the leaders of Oscorp, and killed many innocent lives at the prison and at Oscorp. Flash tells Harry that he still has a choice, to either do good to help people or do bad with harming and killing innocents. He made his choice to stop making others feel bad to become someone better. He then tells Harry while walking to him that if he can change, so can he. Harry looked down, knowing that Flash was right. He knew that this was his and Flash's destiny. Harry looked at Flash with more confidence, and he said, "Let's do this." This is how the second act of the finale will end. How will the ending of this trilogy end? With Eddie Brock becoming Thompson, Peter finding out the truth, and Flash still without his superpowers. We shall find out soon, but until then, my dear friends, farewell.